Hello, witches. I am High Priestess Autumn Venus. Thank you for joining me this afternoon for this very important broadcast concerning your family members. This broadcast is definitely going to set some people straight. It's definitely going to release some witches that have had family members that were caught up in the Salem Witch trials and the burnings in Europe and elsewhere in the world. This broadcast is going to help. This broadcast is what you are going to need to hear from the Queen of Witches, Hecate, through her High Priestess. My name, once again, is High Priestess Orson Phoenix. Be sure to share this live broadcast right now with a witch if you know one that has family members that were victims of the Salem witch trials or the European burnings and elsewhere in the world, because vindication, justice is finally coming to these families. Oh, yes. If you have had a family member that was caught up in the Salem witch trials or the burdens in Europe and elsewhere in the world, this broadcast needs to be viewed for the entire length of time. So go ahead right now and share this broadcast. Go ahead and tag some witches in the comments that need to hear this word, because they need to hear this word. So let's get right into it. Your family members that were unfortunately horribly tortured, falsely accused of hurting a person, hurting a village, hurting children, eating children, are going to be vindicated. They are going to receive justice. There is coming a time in our lifetime when the ancestors that remain here today are going to pay the price for what their mama and their daddy did to your relatives. You might be saying, well, I didn't do it. Why do I have to suffer for what my ancestors did? Because you carry their bloodline. That's why you have to suffer. You are guilty by association. You are guilty by association. Nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches. Nobody escapes justice from the Queen of Witches, Hecate. Hecate will extend punishment to the relatives that remain. In our lifetime, very soon, you are going to be an audience member viewing the relatives of those who relatives killed your family being taken to the stake, being taken to the gallows. They will burn, they will hang. That's something to celebrate. That's something to get excited about. That's something to cheer about. That should make you shout in joy that your family members that was caught up in the Salem witch trials, that was burned alive in Europe and elsewhere, is finally going to get justice. Finally. It's true what they say. It's actually true. Justice delayed is not justice denied. Justice delayed is not justice denied. In our lifetime, that means you and I will physically be alive to see it. You will see the people who remain, who are related to the people who killed off your family members, being punished, horribly punished, horribly tortured. They are going to receive what their ancestors did to yours, and you will have a front row seat to it all. You will have a front row seat to it all. They can laugh, they can mock, they can make fun of what happened to your family members, but the joke is actually on them. The joke is actually on them. You, the witch, will have the last laugh. You, the witch, will have the last laugh. They can giggle with their friends. They can recruit other people to be against you. None of that will matter because Hecate, the queen of witches, protects her own. If you are a witch, you are Hecate's own. That means she protects you. She protects your bloodline. She protects your bloodline to come. And she also doles out punishment for those who are idiotic enough to try to hurt you. Those people who try to hurt you will end up being the ones begging, pleading, crying, hollering for mercy. And it will not be extended. Witches are not in the business of being, showing empathy, showing pity, showing mercy to people who do not deserve it. Witches are not fake. Witches are not going to be nice to people just to be their friend. Witches are not going to brown nose people. Witches are not going to kiss anybody's ass. Witches are not going to extend a helping hand to someone who has always used their hands to smack them about the head, especially their family members. There is justice coming to your family members. It will happen. You will hear of people who are related to the people who tortured your family members, either in Salem or burned them at the stake, losing everything, being brought down and stomped, having their heads stomped on, having their throats stomped on, having their throats cut, having their businesses fail, having their marriages fail, having disease run in their children's lives, having destruction after destruction after destruction. Why? Because Hecate protects her own and nobody escapes justice from the Queen of Witches. This was always going to happen. This must have always happened because justice delayed is not justice denied. It doesn't matter where in the earth they go to hide, they will be found out. It does not matter. They can hide underneath a rock. They can try to make themselves invisible by drinking a potion. It doesn't matter. Hecate will still find them. And they will still suffer the consequences to the extent that their ancestors tortured, murdered, and raped yours, assaulted yours, humiliated yours. I know some witches sit back and they wonder, when is vindication coming? Hecate never loses an address. Let me say that. Hecate never loses an address. She knows every address of your enemies. Hecate knows every address of your enemies. They can leave the planet. They can leave the galaxy. It doesn't matter. They will still be found. And they still will pay for what their ancestors did to your ancestors because they deserve it. Hecate can't punish the people who tortured and treated your ancestors horribly, but she can torture and make things horrible for their bloodline, for their descendants, as it should be. As it should be. The people who tortured and humiliated and treated your ancestors horribly are living in a afterlife of hell, as they should. Because just because you die, let me say this, just because you die does not mean in death you are free of the crimes you did in life. You will suffer for what you did in the afterlife. Your so-called sins are not washed away just because your life has come to an end. It's not. It's not. Hecate has every address of these people. It makes no difference if it is a man, woman, child, or baby. Yes, babies. Yes, babies. That's not harsh. That's not mean. That's not a terrible thing for me to say. It's the truth. Hecate has been speaking to me about families for quite some time now, and the vindication coming to them. Finally, finally, justice. Finally. If you have an ancestor that was caught up in the madness of the Salem witch trials, the chaos of the burning times in Europe and elsewhere in the world, I'm pretty sure that they have been speaking to you in dreams. They have been sending you signs that they are going to be avenged. That the score is going to be settled in your favor. It's a long time coming. It's a long time coming, but it came nonetheless. It came nonetheless. The family members of the people who ruin your bloodline, they don't know what's coming. They don't know what's awaiting them. And guess what, witches? You don't have to do a curse or a hex. Hecate will act. Hecate can do what you can't. Hecate can do what would probably send you to jail. That's why I tell witches, don't be so quick to beat somebody up, because Hecate hits a lot harder. Oh, yes, she does. When Hecate hits you, it's equal to being hit by a truck. It's equal to be hit by an airplane. It's equal to being hit by a train. You're hurt, possibly dead. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Nobody escapes justice from Hecate. Hecate protects her own. And what you will get is the spoils. You will get the spoils that those people drop on the battlefield. That means luxurious foods, luxurious clothes, money, cars, houses will be deposited to you. You will reap what you deserve. Hecate will give you a blessing for all your family's trouble. She will give you more than what you originally asked for. She will give you the desires of your heart. If you want something, if you really want something, I mean, truly desire it, Hecate will give it to you. She will, because she wants you to be happy. She wants you to be stress free. She wants you to have what you want because you are believing that she is your source. And Hecate is your source. Your source is not a friend, a romantic partner, a teacher, your parents, your siblings. Hecate is your source. That's why I've been saying, you see all these issues happening now with the church, the latest being that guy who showed up in church, right, ready to shoot the pastor. These things are going to continue to happen. They have to continue to happen. I said this time and time again. Christianity, Judaism, Islam, those of the Abrahamic faith, those are cults. They're cults. Call it what it is. Call it what it is. Christianity, Judaism, Islam are cults. Those three have been the deaths of witches. And you will continue to see in the news and with independent journalism these types of things happening. And as witches, we are not to be disappointed if it doesn't go the way we hoped it would go, meaning unalive. We are not to cheer when it does go, but we are to celebrate when evil is cut down. So when you hear about an ancestor that is alive today, that has been taken out of the earth, we are to celebrate that evil has been eliminated, not that the person is dead and gone, but that evil has been eliminated. Because witches, listen very carefully to me, witches are the last defense against evil. Witches are the last defense against evil. Jesus cannot save you. Muhammad, Allah cannot save you. It is witches. It has always been witches. 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 Witches are the last defense against evil. If you disagree, you are wrong. Just like that, you're wrong. It's not an opinion. It's not a opinion. It's a fact. It's a fact. Witches are the last defense against evil. Witches are the people who are holding evil back, that is restraining evil. Things could be a lot worse in the world if we were not here. Things could be a lot worse if there were no high priestesses like myself and high priests in the world. Things could be so much worse. But because you and I are here, things are not as bad as they really could be. And let's just be grateful for that. Let's be grateful for witches. Let's start to be grateful for witches. All right? We have to. We have to. Because we are the last defense against evil. So be sure to watch the news, watch social media, read and watch independent journalism. You will see that these type of events, like that guy who showed up with a gun to kill the pastor with, is going to continue to happen. Because Hecate has set a time for these people to be unalive. Because by doing so, she is eliminating evil from the earth. Our best minds have been sent to the gallows. Our best minds have been burned at the stake, and that's over with. Those days are over with. Those days will never repeat themselves. Those days are over with. Those days are no more than a distant memory. Those days were horrific, horrible, terrible, madness, stupid, and it's over with. It is over with. Hecate is not going to tolerate it. She never tolerated it. It's that when Christianity took over most of the world, she was restrained. But because witches and high priestesses like myself and other high priests bring Hecate back into the mainstream, back into the public, she gains power. She gains influence. She does. Hecate is here to stay. Witches are here to stay. High priestesses are here to stay. High priests are here to stay. Witchcraft is working with the energy found in nature to bring about real, significant, and permanently positive change so that the witch may no longer go through life the hard way, because no witch should be struggling. No witch that has had a family member burned alive or hung should be forgotten. They should get justice. They will get justice in our lifetime. There is going to come a day very soon. Hecate has not told me the day. That's for her to know, which I'm okay with. I'm not gonna pressure her. That's okay for Hecate to just know. I believe it's okay because she wants to surprise us with who we may have thought was our friends were actually the relatives of the people who burned our family members alive and hung them at the gallows. You'll be saying to yourself, she did that? His family did that? Her family did that? I can't believe it. Believe it. Believe it. You will be saying, I can't believe you're related to the person who killed my great great grandmother. I can't believe you're related to the person who killed my great great grandfather. This is why all these things are happening to you, because you are guilty by association. And you might be saying, well, I can't choose the family I'm born into. That's why I said you're guilty by association. It's not the witch's fault that you was born in that family. It's not. It's not. And like I just said, nobody escapes a traditional experience with the Queen of Witches. Not one soul. Not one soul. Everybody eventually has to sit down to a banquet of consequences. Those consequences are going to be severe. They are going to be marched to the gallows. They are going to be marched to the stake. They are going to be burned alive. They are going to have the noose around their necks for what their ancestors did to yours. Rightfully so. Because they're guilty by association. Does that include babies? Yes, that does include babies. I told you, which is time and time again. We know that life is not sacred. Life is not precious. We know that some people simply do not deserve to be alive. You have enemies and you think to yourself, why is she alive? Why is he alive? Why hasn't he or she been taken out of the planet? Because it's not their time yet. It's not their time yet. But their time is coming. Their time is coming in our lifetime. We will witness it. And we will cheer and applaud and have popcorn and cotton candy and ice cream to celebrate. And your ancestors that died will also be celebrating on the other side of the veil. In the afterlife, they will be celebrating that their bloodline has been purified, their bloodline has finally received justice. Finally, finally. Justice delayed is not justice denied. Justice delayed is not justice denied. Don't fall for any sob story, crying and carrying on, whining, complaining. Oh, why me? Why me? Your ancestors who were burned at the stake and were hung at the gallows also said, why me? They were killed for various reasons. They were killed just because they were a woman or elderly or even the color of their skin. Nobody escapes justice from Hecate. This time is coming soon. If you have a relative that was a victim of the Salem Witch trials or burning in Europe and elsewhere in the world, they are going to be vindicated because their family members that are alive today are going to be punished for their actions against your own mama and daddy. They are. They are. They have to be. They have to be. Because they're guilty by association. You might be saying, well, that's not fair. Life is not fair. It's not. Justice is actually not fair either. It's not. It's just. It's just. Vindication is coming to your bloodline. If you are a witch that has had a family member that was a victim of the Salem witch trials or the European and elsewhere burnings, there is justice coming. Nobody will escape. And it will happen in our lifetime. You and I, will be alive to see it. You and I will have front row seats. It's going to be an incredible day. It's going to be a joyous day. And Hecate will give your family a blessing, many, many blessings for all the hardship that was imposed on you because of your ancestors' death. All your needs will be met. Not one thing will be left out. If you have a need or want, it will be met. Because Hecate protects, Hecate covers her own. So very quickly, once again, that's my message from Hecate to you witches who have ears to hear and hands to receive Hecate's best. Once again, my name is High Priestess Autumn Venus. Be sure to share this live broadcast with a witch or two or three and tell them that there is a High Priestess here in New York who is anointed and appointed by the Queen of Witches to propel witches really into their best magically filled life of real, significant, and permanently positive change through witchcraft. Because it is through witchcraft that you can conjure every single dream that resides in your heart. So thank you, witches, for joining me for this short but yet impactful, informative message. And I will speak to you witches next time. Bye, everyone.